Hey guys, today we're going to go through lesson 7.3. I can write, solve, graph two-step inequalities. We're going to start with example 1. Is write a two-step inequality. Again, this is lesson 7.3, two-step inequalities. So, again, as always, we're going to do the guided practice. You're going to do the try this on your own. It says write an inequality from the sentence. The first sentence says the sum of 9 times x and 10 is less than 20. So let's start with, we have our 9 times x, and well, it said sum, so we're adding. 10 means equals, well, not is, less than 20. So is less than 20 in the equation, that means equals, but not here. So this is less than 20. So let's write that down. 9 times x is 9x plus 10 is less than 20. So you're again just translating what the sentence says. So let's start on the next one. 10 times the sum x and 4 is greater than 15. Well, this one's a little trickier because it may sound like you're doing 10 times x and 4, but you have to see x and 4 as a sum. Well, sum means we're adding, so x and 4 are being added. Well, 10 times that means we're doing 10 times that, which means usually when we do 10 times a set of numbers, we put those in parentheses. So when you see 10 times the sum of something or 10 times the difference or a number times the sum or difference of something, that usually means you're putting that sum or difference in the parentheses. And is greater than gives us a greater than sign, 15. So we have 10, and I'm not going to put the multiplication sign. You can, but you don't. It's unnecessary because the number next to the parentheses means that we're multiplying. Times x plus 4 is greater than 15. All right, let's try the next one. 5 less than 13 times a number is greater than 11. So we have 5, and then less than 13 times a number. So we actually don't have 5 first, which is crazy, you would think. But if we're saying 5 less than 13 times a number, well, we don't know what that number is, so we're going to say 13x. And then 5 less than that means we're taking 5 away, which means subtract 5. And that's greater than 11. All right, the next one, 14 times x plus 1 is at least 18. So 14 times x plus 1. So again, we have that times in there of something plus another something. So this should be in our parentheses. X plus 1 is at least, which means that's going to be, it could be greater than or it could be equal to, but it can't be any less than 18. So that's our, if you go and check that table we made in lesson 1, at least will be under the greater than or equal to. And finally, the difference between 2 times x and 1 is at most 3. So the difference, we're subtracting because it's a difference between this and this. So we say 2 times x is 2x. We're subtracting because it said difference. And then the other number was 1 as at most, which means we're doing less than or equal to 3. All right, now you guys try this. Oops. Down below, there's 5 questions, very similar to these questions. You can do it now or you can do it at the end of the video. Example 2, the guided practice, whole full page. It says solve and graph two-step inequalities. Solve and graph these inequalities. So we'll start with the first one. We have negative 4m minus 5 is greater than negative 25. Now, I understand that there's not a lot of space on here to write. I'm actually going to write off to the side. If you want to do a separate sheet of paper, you want to do it somewhere else on there, I get that I should have made more space. My bad, guys. So let's start off over here. I'm just going to rewrite it. Negative 4m minus 5 is greater than negative 25. All right, we solve this just like an equation. We'll start off with the number that's not touching the variable, the addition or subtraction. So we're subtracting 5, so the opposite of subtracting 5 is adding 5. So now we have, bring down our negative 4m. This gives us 0. We don't need to write 0, so we have negative 4m is greater than negative 25 plus a positive 25. Think of it as money. If I owed someone $25, I gave them $5. I only owe them now $20. And now we're going to divide. We're dividing by a negative 4. So we're going to divide by a negative 4 over here, and we're left with m. And we divided by a negative, so my sign flips to a less than, and a negative 20 divided by a negative 4 is a positive 5. So m is less than 5 is your answer, and you can go write that over here, m less than 5. And so now let's graph that. So we have m less than 5. That means I'm going to go to 5. It's an open circle because it's not less than or equal to. It is just less than. And then we're going to make our arrow point to all the numbers that are less than 5, which would be all this way. And there you go. Let's try the next one. I'm going to do a different color for this one. So we have 2 minus 6c is less than or equal to negative 28. So we're going to get rid of the 2 first. So how to undo a 2, how to make it go away? Well, if it's a positive 2, we subtract 2. 2 minus 2 gives us 0. But what we do to one side, we have to do the other. So we're going to minus 2 over here. So now, remember, this subtraction sign goes with this number. You can't just make it go away. So this is going to now be negative 6c. And that's less than or equal to negative 28 minus 2. Again, think of it as I owe someone $28. Subtraction means borrow. So I borrowed $2 more. So now I owe them $30. And again, you just use your calculator. Don't feel like you have to stress out about figuring it out on paper. So now I have negative 6c is less than or equal to negative 30. I'm going to divide by negative 6 on this side. The same on this side. I divided by a negative, so I need to switch my sign. So now this turns into 1, so I have 1c. And negative 30 divided by negative 6 gives me a positive 5. So now I have c is greater than or equal to 5. So we make our closed circle because it is greater than or equal to, so 5 is included, and it's going to be all numbers bigger than 5, which goes to the right. All right, next one. I'm going to write over here this time, and let's go with a different color. So we have negative 5 is less than or equal to negative 5 plus b over 3. So now we need to get rid of this negative 5 first. Well, even though we have addition, to undo negative 5, if I owe someone $5, I give them $5 to undo that. So I'm going to say plus 5 on both sides. So now I have, this gives me 0. Well, it happens to be the same over here, so this is also going to give me 0. This 0 I'm going to write down is less than or equal to b over 3. It was a positive, it was plus b over 3, so that makes it positive. Well, to undo division, we do multiplication, so I'm going to say times 3 on both sides. And let's actually do it this way so you guys can see. And so 0 times 3 is 0. We multiply by a positive, so we do not change the sign. It stays the same. And 3 times, if you're dividing by 3 and you multiply 3, these two make a 1. So you have 0 is less than or equal to b. So 0 is less than or equal to b. To graph that, you're going to go to 0. It's going to be a closed circle because it includes 0. And it's going to be 0 has to be less than all of your b's, which means your b's have to be bigger than 0. So we're going to plug them all in. And again, if you're not sure what numbers to put in, take one on this side, take one on that side. And plug them in. If I said 0 is less than or equal to negative 1, well, that's not true. 0 is bigger than that one. So that one doesn't work. Versus if I said 0 is less than or equal to 1 on the right side, well, that one does work. So we're going to keep that one. All right, final one. We have b divided by 2 minus 3 is greater than negative 2. So let's solve it. I'm going to switch colors, and I'm going to do it off to the side. Again, I apologize for the amount of space I left. So we have b over 2 minus 3 is greater than negative 2. So we're going to undo the adding or subtracting first. So we're subtracting 3, the opposite is adding 3, the inverse, as you will. So we now have b over 2 is greater than negative 2 plus 3. You owe someone $2, you have 3, so you'll have $1 left. And actually, we did not need that plus sign. $1 left. So now we're going to say, well, to undo dividing by 2, the inverse is multiplying by 2. So we multiply by 2 on both sides. That undid that. And now we have b is greater than, because it did not flip because we multiplied by a positive. 1 times 2 gives us 2. So b is greater than 2. So we go over here and we say b is greater than 2. So now let's graph that. Well, it's only a greater than sign, so we're not going to do a filled-in circle at 2. We'll do an open circle, and we need to know the b's have to be greater than. Well, we have 1 on this side, and we have 3 on that side. Which one is greater than 2? This one right here. So all the numbers to the right. And I shouldn't have, hold on, let's erase that. Shouldn't be on the inside. There we go. All right, and that would be that for the first one. Go ahead and try this now, or go at the end of the video. Last example, we have Daniel has $25 to spend at the fair. If the admissions to the fair is $4 and the rides cost $1.50 each, what is the greatest number of rides Daniel can go on? So we need to write our inequality first. That's the first step. So let's go highlight our important information. Daniel has $25 to spend. He has no more than that. That's all he has. So I know that he has $25 and he can spend no more than that. So whatever he spends has to be less than or equal to $25 because he has nothing else he can spend. And then we have, if the admissions of the fair is $4, admission is $4, and the rides cost $1.50 each, what is the greatest number of rides Daniel can go on? Well, do we know the number of rides he can go on? No. So we'll say the number of rides is equal to X, because we don't know that yet. So I know I would take the number of rides and I multiply it by the cost of each ride. So I'm going to say 150X. And then I have to also take into account his $4 that he paid to get in as part of his spending. So plus the $4 cannot equal any more than $25. So now we have 150x plus 4 is less than or equal to 25. Now it says how many rides can Daniel go on? Justify your answer. Well, all we have to do is solve the inequality. So we have 150x plus 4 is less than or equal to 25. I subtract 4 on both sides. And now I have 150x is less than or equal to 21. Divide by 150 on both sides. And I'm going to write over here, we have left x is, and we do not flip because it was not a negative, less than or equal to 14. So that means, and remember word problem answers for word problems, he can ride up to 14 rides. All right, so now we have to graph that. Now, a little trick for graphing, do not make it more complicated than it needs to be. Whatever number you got, in our case is 14, you put in the middle. On one side, you put the next number, 13. On the other side, you put the number after, 15. And there you go, a number line. So I'm going to use a different color just so it doesn't all blend in together. So now we have to say it's a closed circle because it's less than or equal to on 14. And is it going to be numbers less than 14 or numbers greater than 14? Well, he can't write 15 rides because he doesn't have enough money. So it has to be numbers that are less than. So you go to the left. And there it is. And you guys go ahead and do the try this for the next one. And let me know if you have any questions. This is the end of the note, so have a good day.